Hello and welcome to another exciting episode of Reboot It. Tonight we're joined by
Mark Bolts Robinson.
And Amanda Berlin.
and Benny Carnes was supposed to be here, but he's apparently busy. In fact, he was just down working with our CCDC team. So he may have just gotten home or probably had to do homework.
He's too good for us.
He's what?
He's too good for us.
You know I was going to be on it.
Oh yeah, he heard Amanda was going to be here, and he was overwhelmed by the idea and just couldn't make it.
That happens a lot.
So I'm trying to get organized here. This is we've actually this is our second podcast of the year. So we've gotten 2 under our belt, and it's not even the end of February yet.
Right? One a month.
It's a crazy month.
Is this number 2 or is this number 3?
This is number 2. This is episode number 66.
Yes,
Right.
number 2 of this year. And it's the second one in our Donald Trump America.
Oh my God. That's frightening when you put it that way.
Well, I was just thinking about it in the context of all the political related stuff, like Rudy Giuliani being the cyber czar.
Are you
Right.
sure under the? I was going to say that was the last show, wasn't it? When you talked about
Right.
that?
So we can all refer the viewers back to listening to episode 65.
I
When
didn't
you
put the
talked about
story
the
in the
cyber
show
war.
notes that Trump has effectively apparently killed the cyber-core. That they had this money they give to people to study cybersecurity, and then the government would pay for their education and then basically
Really?
employ them.
Let me try and capture the sound of the facepalm.
And because of the hiring freeze, it's basically they're not hiring anybody.
Huh.
So it's
Well, the thing is that the government is so incestuous with the security clearance stuff anyway, because everybody always says, "Oh, you must have an active security clearance," and it just means that the same people only ever get jobs everywhere, and they never get any new people, and then they wonder why they don't have new people, and I'm just like, because you keep asking for active clearances.
And they want to, and on top of that, they wonder why they have a cybersecurity gap, because they keep hiring these cyber grandpas who have clearances, but over and over again. You can thank Vis for that, which I think perfectly fits the problem.
I would laugh, except I think I am a cyber grandpa.
Well, I am too, so I'm probably older than you are. Probably older than you are, and definitely old enough to be Amanda's father. But
You are. You're right.
if you can remember creating a .plan file on a Unix system, so when somebody fingered you, they knew what you were doing.
Actually, I do remember that.
Nope.
And you know that that's all non-sexual. Then you definitely
The first Linux box I ever touched was Backtrack 5. So
Backtrack. Oh, the good old days.
I did Slackware 0.3.
Ugh, that sounds horrible.
It was. There were no token ring drivers at the time,
God.
which I needed for the university I was
You just
working.
had to print out your packets and take it to the next building.
Yep. Just fax them over. I'm good to go.
I thought it was punch cards.
Okay,
I
so
was
let's
gonna
back on track. Upcoming conferences.
Yeah, I should do
Right.
I guess I should do that, right? Upcoming conferences. AID 2017. Mark Bolts Robinson is the keynote speaker.
Oh my God, who let that guy in?
I don't know. I think he volunteered. He was in the wrong place at the right time.
What day is the keynote? Thursday? Right?
I hope it's
morning, I
Thursday
believe.
the 6th, because
Okay.
that's when I'm planning on
It
doing
is.
it.
All right.
Thursday the 6th, I've got him at first thing in the morning,
Am I
which is
speaking?
9. Yes, you're speaking.
All right.
You told me what day you wanted to speak on, but I forgot what
I
it
know,
was.
but I don't on Friday. But I don't know
Is it
what
on
I
Friday?
don't have anything to talk about.
Well, put her in the morning too, so that I can attend before I have to leave.
I think last time
we both suffer the lack of coffee together.
Yeah, I don't drink coffee anymore.
Oh my goodness.
I'm just a natural happy morning person, which really annoys some people.
Blair's the same way. She's a very happy morning person. So it's the April 3rd to the 7th. We're going to do information security on Thursday the 6th and Friday the 7th. It's at the Forensic Science Center in Huntington, West Virginia. And go to the website appyide.org. Check it out in the show notes. It's be on our website as well. And now we understand we have working links. You can actually register. So we need to get up schedule. That's the next thing. And we also call for sponsors is open as well. Besides Nova is February 25th. Website is www.bsidesnova.org. Did I say April? February 25th. So that's
February. That's like this weekend, isn't
tomorrow.
it?
Yeah, this weekend.
Yeah, just coming weekend. So hope they do well.
B-Sides Indy, March 11th. www.bsidesindy.com. BloomCon in Bloomsburg, PA.
That's the one I was thinking of. I was just talking to somebody about a conference in
probably Dr. Phil.
PA, and I couldn't remember the name of it.
Yeah, and I can't make it. My kids aren't going because it's in the middle of spring break, and I have something I have to do, so I can't be there. If I need to rattle his cage.
I'll be in Florida.
I need to rattle his cage about coming down to aid. But you want to check it out, bloomcon.com. I understand he's got dual core coming back. Doing a lot of really cool stuff. Check the website out. They're really nice looking website.
Definitely check that out because Bloomsburg is where one entire branch of my ancestry family is from.
Cool.
So that would be interesting.
Awesome. B-Sides Nashville with Amanda Berlin as keynote.
Who let her in?
Never heard of her.
Right.
Amanda Berlin, never heard of her. bsidesnash.org. It's April 22nd. Did you ever write your talk?
Not yet.
Are you Dave Kennedy? You just going to write it on the way there?
No. No, because it's I just
keynoted.
I just started speaking 2 years ago. Like I've only had like 3 or 4 talks, and now I'm keynoting.
Fine.
And I feel like I should practice because I normally don't practice when I speak.
I don't practice.
I'll just walk up and like wing it. I feel like I should practice for this.
No, I'm not a practicing person. I think it makes it worse, but I'm sure you'll do great.
So see, for the aid keynote, I'm actually like hacking. I get the advantage that I'm on the road a lot, so I have like the thermostats and the TVs in the hotels now.
Yeah,
so
right.
That's sort of the basis of my Internet of Things response thing. So I'm like, how do I get this LG TV to give me a forensic image of its memory?
All right, that's cool. And then you get to awesome. You get a whole bunch of different hardware without having to buy it all.
And if it breaks, then I just say, oh, I do not want to be in that room next week.
Yeah, you're like, there's something wrong with the thermostat. I can't stay in here no more. I used to have a friend that was a master social engineer who could always get upgraded in a hotel room because he would come up with the most crazy story. Well, he's like, I can't believe I used to do this stuff that I used to do. Let's see where we stop. B-Sides Charm. April 29th to 30th. Y'all have to help me along. I mean, I teach college, but reading is hard. April 29th to the 30th in Baltimore Convention Center in Baltimore, Maryland. CFP is open. bsidescharm.com.
Awesome people who also are all usually heavily involved in B-Sides DC. So I have to throw that out there because, of course, B-Sides DC is my thing.
We should, if there's a B-Sides DC date, we probably should throw it in the show notes.
Well, that's not until like October, so
yeah,
nobody's planning for that.
I've got a freaking HackerCon in here in November, so. it's game, right? And the
So you don't
DerbyCon
forget
dates, we
about it.
probably should throw that down.
And B-Sides
So
DC is earlier this year. It's going to be like the weekend of the 6th, 7th, 8th, or whatever that weekend is in October. They had to bump earlier because
which that's going to be like the week after Derby.
Yeah. That's an interesting thing how like September, October is such a crunch for all of these cons that all want to be in that same time frame. And there was another one that popped up recently that they were like, "Oh, let's do like October," and everybody was like, "Are you crazy?" Like,
yeah, because that's where that's when GerCon is too. So last year I went to.
Well, that's Skydog.
Yeah, that's why I skipped.
Con's there as well. Yep.
And HackerCon used to be, and then we didn't want to compete with B-Sides DC because we sort of draw people from DC as well, and we didn't want to compete directly because you all would have killed us anyway. So we moved it to November, but it's fine. It works for us. But DerbyCon, what's going to be interesting is how fast is DerbyCon going to sell out this year?
Yeah, they're getting right up into the F5 territory.
And now I have to book, the university has to book my travel stuff for me. And
just submit some leaders talk about how you, pancake recipes for tickets or something, and crazy like.
I'm not really worried as much about tickets.
No, there was that guy that posted that thing about how do I. He submitted a talk about how do I get tickets at DerbyCon or something.
Right.
Yeah, he spoke after me actually last year at Derby, and it was a full room.
Yep.
But I'm more worried about the hotels selling out, personally, because I like to stay in a hotel, and it's going to be weird. Next year they move to the Marriott. It's going to be weird to have DerbyCon not be in the Hyatt.
I'm going to miss it.
I'm still going to stay in the Hyatt.
I think I might too.
Unfortunately, I'll be winging my way to Germany at the time for vacation.
Unfortunately.
Yeah. I'm either going to stay at the Hyatt or at the Lexus Park. I haven't decided. It's an esoteric. Yeah, you're going to Germany during Derby, and that falls about every year, right? That's about the time that annually you go to Germany.
Yeah, I have to go to my Oktoberfest, and
yeah. You wear lederhosen?
I do actually have the entire.
Oh, cool.
Outfit.
Nice.
Yeah. Awesome.
I even have a picture of me in the entire outfit blowing into a breathalyzer to I was at a 1.44 for my BAC.
That's about the time I got arrested for that. Well, anyway, that's another story.
That picture will be in the show notes.
So ThoughtCon OX8. I guess this is ThoughtCon 8.
Ocho, yes. Also, like. Well, no, I'm sorry. HackerCon 8 also gets the credit for that. The Ocho.
The Ocho, yes.
So that's kind of a thing. So.
Yeah. So ThoughtCon and HackerCon basically the same age, which is interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So ThoughtCon is May 4th through the 5th. ThoughtCon.org. ThoughtCon.org.
They are out of tickets.
Okay. So we should just go ahead and yank them out of the show notes. I'm kidding. How'd they run out of tickets? I wish I had that problem.
It's a really small venue, isn't it? Don't they only have like?
I think it's held in a bar.
Yeah.
It's in a very small venue, and it's pretty well attended from what I understand. Hack Miami, May 19th through the 21st, hackmiami.com. And of course, HackerCon 8, the Ocho, November 17th to the 19th.
Dun, dun, dun.
South Charleston, West Virginia. CFP opens on June 1st. There's a big typo there. SecureWV.com. I like how we changed the name back to HackerCon, but we're still using SecureWV. I'm just to confuse everybody.
It's both. Remember?
Let's not go into that. But yeah, it's both. I guess it depends who you talk to, right?
Happy. To make the suits happy.
Yeah, well, I was there for that. I've been there for that fight. I actually resigned over changing the name,
Too, and then you,
but I came back.
yeah,
You know.
you
Well, I
resigned for
need
a
it.
week.
And that was about a year. I came back because it was stupid. It was a stupid reason to resign. So let's talk about some of these stories. Some of these stories are old. I hope that you all added some.
I did.
Looks
Did
like we've added a
one.
couple.
I
Okay,
added
great. Which
one
one did you
too.
add?
I put my initials on mine.
Which one? Oh,
I see yours.
I did the Celebrate one, and Amanda did Cloudflare,
Okay, awesome.
which I
Okay.
equated with Clown Strike. I'm sorry, Crowd Strike. Sorry.
Yeah, I call them Clown Strike too. Police One, a form used only by verified law enforcement, has been hacked and data dumped for sale on the dark web market.
but it's only selling for $400.
Right.
I didn't think that was a very. It makes you wonder about the quality to dump.
Well,
Because then wouldn't you just buy it for $400 and then start selling it for $300?
it sort of sounded like this
People have.
It sort of sounded like this was something like was freely available in Shodan, and then so that's why it's only $400. And yeah, Amanda has a great point too. Like,
Maybe.
oh, I'll buy that for $400 and I'll sell it for $350.
Yeah. Especially it's such a small amount. But I thought, so the thing that I thought was best about this whole article is how this one handled like their breach notification and the press for it.
Yeah.
You
want to talk about that?
I'm going to read what's in here.
Okay.
Just the little blurb. As we've confirmed the credibility of a purported breach of the Police One forums in 2015, in which hackers were potentially able to obtain usernames, emails, hash passwords for a portion of our members. While we have not yet verified the claim, we're taking immediate steps to secure user accounts and our forums, which are currently offline, which I thought was a good first step, while we investigate and gather more information. And then they're notifying the potentially affected users as a matter of priority and requiring them to change their passwords, which places that are way bigger than them still can't grasp the concept of. Yeah.
True, but at the same time, I have to wonder, like, okay, so you're telling everybody to change their passwords, but have you fixed the problem that got the people into the database and got them in the first place?
Non-updated CMS, which
happens
a lot.
It was an ancient vBulletin vulnerability, so I'm sure that's all it was, and crappy hashing on the passwords.
Yeah, and I bet you the server infrastructure isn't that large. But if that's all they do, is this just a forum for trading back intelligence?
Well, I don't even know if it's intelligence. I think it's just,
like methods of intelligence.
It just says that it's used only by verified law enforcement officials, whatever that means. Like, I mean, they could be trading like break room cookie recipes or something.
They could.
You wouldn't really know, but at the same time, I have to wonder, like, this, to me, what this showed is that we still don't get, even in law enforcement and intelligence and everything else, that if you have a system, it is insecure, because there's no such thing as a secure system. And this whole idea of this is verified law enforcement only, you put it on the internet, you're an idiot. Like, you should have just not done this in the first place. You should have at least had like VPN access, two-factor authentication, and other things, or just don't do it. Like, unless you're trading recipes for the break room.
My feeling is it was a generalized forum. So I don't, think about what you're guarding. In this case, I don't think it was I don't know, but I wouldn't think it'd be intelligence stuff.
Right.
And if it was, that they'd have maybe some better idea of classifying their data and not putting it on a vBulletin system. But who knows? I mean, people tend to do whatever is the most, what's the easiest thing, right? Path of least resistance.
Classify their own data. A lot of people don't know what data they have, let alone know how to classify it.
Exactly. So that's the thing is I'm thinking is that, yeah, maybe it is just a random chit-chat bulletin board, and that's what we would like to think. But that's not necessarily what they thought. We don't really know from the article exactly which one it was, but this said that it was about techniques of investigation, training, and other law enforcement-centric discussions, according to the article. So what does that really mean at the end of the day? Is it super sensitive or not? We don't know, but...
You're talking about stuff we talked about 10 years ago, probably.
Right.
Because that's about where they are, unfortunately, when it comes to especially, you know, what we do, and forensic sides as well. This reminds me of Operation Pig Roast. Do you all remember Operation Pig Roast?
No.
Anonymous operation. And I believe LawSec was involved, and they didn't like the immigration policies that were being forced by law enforcement in Arizona, so they breached their database and leaked a bunch of cop addresses and other PII. And then they also broke into the Chief of Police Association's website. This is about 2010, I think, 2010, 2011, 2012. Now who's the cyber grandpa?
That wasn't that long ago.
Well, you know, we're talking about in the internet age. That's ages ago. I mean,
True.
Look at Anonymous now compared to Anonymous then. It doesn't exist the way that it used to. I mean, most of those people who went to jail, even Barrett Brown, except for Jeremy Hammond, who's still sitting in federal prison, the rest of those people are out. So, anyway, I don't know how I took that down the rabbit hole, but I managed to do it anyway. Move on to the next one.
Vizio TVs.
Yes.
So the next two go together.
So the next two go together.
The same thing.
Yeah. So Vizio TVs, FTC has slapped Vizio with a fine because guess what? Your television's spying on you.
Surprise.
So it doesn't surprise me. I've seen the video. You know, this is the same thing we've been doing with webcams for a while, flipping on the camera, flipping on the microphone. I think the question is, why the hell is there a microphone, a camera, and a TV in the first place?
Because they're smart.
So the idea was voice control and hand gestures. Yeah, but still, shouldn't they disclose that?
Well, yeah.
In some meaningful way.
That's why the FTC.
I mean, if you buy television,
like the FTC even has like a workshop that they're supposed to go through that teaches them about like what's correct, you know, procedures for smart TVs.
But it doesn't just also get to the point of like your Xbox with its Kinect and your computer with its webcam, etc., and your Alexa and Google Home and etc. with their microphones always listening and etc., etc., etc. Like, did this, in that sense, in that argument, it comes back to the whole, oh my God, your Android or your iPhone's listening to you all the time, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, well, how do you think that works? Like, it has to do that in order to do what it does. I mean,
right. Otherwise, you can't just say Siri, and it's. I mean,
yeah.
How else do you think that's going to get turned on?
We're now officially screwing with people's home automation. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
Everyone just woke up their Siri device.
Yeah,
I don't have one. That's why I didn't say, okay, Google.
Alexa, play adult pornography.
So this is interesting. It's not in the show notes. My colleague John Salmons just posted that Amazon is refusing to hand over the data on whether Alexa overheard a murder. Citing First Amendment right to protected speech. Yeah, I'm going to have to put this in the show notes.
And do you know that? So I have an Alexa, and I've been monitoring what Alexa actually does in terms of traffic.
Yeah.
Using a pfSense firewall, among other things, because I work for McAfee and I have access to tools. And
there's
although
some real
she's
tools
always
that work there.
listening, what she actually sends is different.
Yeah.
So she's listening, yes, but she's not like listening and recording all the time. She's just listening, but she's only looking for the keyword Alexa first.
Right.
And then and only then there's that trigger. And then it's comical because in Schitt's Creek, for example, that's SCHITTS apostrophe S, sorry, the TV show, not
right.
Just
not up.
So we don't get our PG. Our
That's okay. If Amanda's on, we usually get the explicit tag.
We got the explicit tag with
happens.
Adrian too. So
yeah, sometimes it happens.
So on Schitt's Creek, every time there's a character named Alexis, and every time they talk about her on the show, our Alexa triggers like, "I'm sorry, I didn't quite get what you said." And
how long does it? Do you know how long it listens?
I think she's at least from what I can gather so far, it's probably about just a 5-second buffer to try and gather if you're actually talking to her. That's the part I'm still investigating. I've only just started with this project because I only got her at the beginning of January. So
it's kind of funny you're talking about her as being like a human being. Seriously, do you find that you have conversations with Alexis?
You actually, and that's the thing that like I'm normally a fairly strong Apple person, as Gal would say, innovation, but it's
innovation.
At the same time, I have to say that the way in which you can converse with the Echo or the Dot is more robust than I think I've ever had with other devices. And the fact that then integrates with the lights from Philips Hue and the Wemo Insight plug that feeds the cat and everything, you actually can have conversations where I can say, add such and such to the shopping list, thank you, Alexa. And she's like, no problem. I'm like, wait a minute. Wow. Like,
she even has manners.
Yeah. So,
wow. That's pretty amazing. And I've never caught on to voice commands. It's never something in fact, home automation and I sometimes don't get along because it's easier for me to go over and turn off the light switch than to, pull up a interface and turn the lights out.
I think it's your accent.
Well, I don't have an accent. I don't know what you're talking about. You think I have an accent? You should have heard me when I first came from Richwood to the big town of Huntington. It was so bad. People couldn't understand me. So
the best part is I can actually get on my phone, like while I'm actually talking to my spouse over Skype remotely from where I am now in Virginia, and I can turn the lights off there from here.
Wow.
And turn them back on again, and that's amusing. So,
I forgot what I was going to say.
Yeah,
sure, it was really insightful.
Well, anyway, so back to Vizio. So they thing, but I mean, really, they have to do certain things to do what they do in order for the TV to be useful. Otherwise, you just go back to the idiot box, and then you have to ask, who was the idiot, really?
Other people I've seen comment, they're just going to go ahead and drill the microphones out. And my thing is, how are you going to do that without electrocuting yourself?
So why bother buying a smart TV?
I think it's to the point now that you can't buy a dumb TV.
Yeah, that's part of the trick. And so, at least for those of us in our circles, I can go into my firewall and
block that.
What I've done is I look up the MAC address and set a specific lease assignment to the DHCP server for my house. and then I say, okay, that IP is blocked from outbound internet access unless I want to update it, and then I'll turn it on temporarily or whatever. But I mean, really, listen to what I just said and think about, can your parents do that?
Nope. No.
So, but every other TV does this too. That's the thing, is when we even have another article about I think there's a Samsung in there
which
too.
is
So
Samsung articles from 2015.
Yep.
So this has been an issue, ongoing concern for a while.
And then again, the Alexa thing with the murder case.
Yeah, I just put that there because we just talked about it.
But and Google Home does the same thing. I mean, the OK Google. But the other thing about this is, I really want to point this out before we move on, is that everybody gets up in arms about when the TV does it.
Mm-hmm.
But your iPhone or your Android device probably does the same thing, where the Hey Siri,
or the little
OK Google, etc.
Yeah.
That's going to happen anyway. Like,
Yep.
so you're okay
Or
with the fact that your phone's been listening to you, but screw your TV.
Well, let's
and then
take
did you
this
see
even
the thing
further.
about the smart the dolls?
Yeah, those dolls are scary.
The smart dolls.
Dolls, yeah. Listen to you.
Teddy Ruxpin with artificial intelligence.
The smart dolls, yeah, exactly. They're listening to you. They're cloud enabled. You know, what are they hearing, and what are they keeping, and what are they saving, and how they secure that. But what I was going to say is that our browsers have been tracking us across the internet now for years, and
Oh yeah.
No one seems to be that concerned about that either. I think for a lot of privacy advocates, what they're worried about is nation states using smart televisions to spy on us. If the NSA is out there scooping up all this data, is this going to be data they're going to start scooping up as well? But then again, as Mark points out, we've had these devices have been listening to us for a while now.
I think back to the doll thing reminded me. I think back to there was an old Robin Williams sketch where he's talking about like the Teddy Ruxpin doll, and he's like talking about how he feared that one day it would wake up and be like, "You must kill mommy and daddy." Right. And now I'm thinking like, "You must kill mommy and daddy. I'll Google how to clean up the body."
Do you remember the Krusty the Clown doll that Bart had that had a good and evil switch?
Yeah, right.
And they called in and they're like, yeah, just switch it from evil to good. Anyway, me going down the rabbit hole again.
That happens in this show a lot, but that's okay. That's what makes it fun.
Well, it's my show. I'm kidding. I am also teasing.
Don't disclose personal information in front of smart TVs. Now, can you imagine how many of these TVs are in bedrooms with people who are getting their groove on? And
that's why I don't have technology in my bedroom. Well, I do. I have my office in my bedroom, I guess.
I thought there was a court order. Anyway,
for my bedroom.
You're right.
Weren't you doing research on the Internet of Dildos? And I mean,
No, I was doing.
I mean.
No, my research was about Tinder.
No, that was
explicit tag.
Wait, what?
Someone just scream the F word and get it over with.
Fuck.
Yeah, there we go. We're done. That sounds like an Adrian thing. What is it? Tell the Donics.
They had a whole bunch of them at DEF CON this year.
Well, it's DEF CON. So
okay. So what was Samsung warning? Not just don't talk about stuff in front of the TV. So.
Yeah, pretty much, and that's from 2005.
Right.
15. So, I don't know. 2015.
So that makes me wonder, like, what is the difference between the different vendors in terms of, like, Alexa? She's listening, but she's only waiting for the keyword before she begins to assess whether she needs to transmit for assistance to the cloud. But what is Samsung doing then that they're saying that
Well, they were selling.
They're just continually streaming everything that you say to the cloud, or
Yeah, they were saving it there, and then was it Vizio or was it Samsung? Like whoever their back end vendor was collecting all of your viewing information and like your habits and stuff like that, and selling that data.
see, that's the thing, is that too. I wonder like what people are thinking in terms of the all of a sudden outrage, because I've been a long-term TiVo subscriber, and I fully understand that everything I do on the TiVo and everything I record on the TiVo since TiVo came out in 1999 has been reported to TiVo, because that's the whole point of TiVo, is that I pay for the TiVo so that it assesses everything I watch versus everything other people like me watch. And if there's like, oh, I watch these 10 things and 9 of these things are watched by these other people, and they also watch this other thing, I might also like that other thing, right? And that's been for ages, and that's the whole point of how it works. So the whole we report what you watch thing, I'm like, how is that any different than the Nielsen box that people had on their TVs since like 1969? I mean, really?
Well, Nielsen doesn't just use a box. They also have you do a diary. In fact, they recently sent my house a diary and said, hey, you want to be a Nielsen family? And I was like, I can't fill this out because I don't get TV channels. We're a cord-cutting family, so we watch everything TiVo, not TiVo. We watch everything on Netflix, CISO, Amazon Prime. How do you record that in a diary that's set up for television channels? So I did take the $2 that was in the envelope, but I'm like, I can't keep a diary. And the problem with Nielsen is they're not really doing a good job tracking what people are watching, because they're still stuck on this old paradigm, because that's where the money is for them, and they're missing a lot of time shifted viewing. We don't watch anything live. I can't think of anything I've watched live for probably a year. And we don't get the local HD channels because we live in a house that's built out of brick, and our little crappy $30 antenna, HD antenna, just doesn't get enough to receive local television. So
yeah,
even
mine
that's
too.
out the door.
I bought like a $15 HD antenna to stick into my TV if I ever needed to watch the news. I've never used it.
Yeah. So, are y'all ready to move on?
Yep. I think we're on the Amazon refused to hand over data on.
Well, that's what we just
We
sort of talked about earlier.
that too, yeah. So we can move on to the political one. Let's do politics.
This is the funniest thing I've ever read in my life. Steve Bannon sunk $16 million of Goldman Sachs money into a failed World of Warcraft gold farming scheme. Why the hell would you think that you could make money gold farming on World of Warcraft? He didn't.
A lot of people did, though, right?
But Chinese people did. They got some of my money. I'm sorry, did I say that out loud? Well, you can now legally buy gold on Warcraft.
Right. Right.
So,
where you couldn't before.
So it was a big black market. But $60 million.
Right. I mean, go big or go home.
I guess.
I mean, it's Goldman Sachs. I mean, honestly, that's chump change to them.
I was going to say that was less than the fines they got after the 2008 market crash debacle. So
yeah,
and that's a fraction of one of their executives' bonuses after that debacle. So
yeah,
and all of these people are now in charge of the Treasury. So
it's fine.
It's all good.
It'll be fine.
It's all good. We'll just put the lotion on our skin and move on.
I don't know if there was a lot there. I just thought that was a bizarre headline. So I
It
had to share
was,
it in
and
the
that's
thread.
the thing is that's what captivated me the most about this was like, what exactly was this boing boing article really trying to accomplish in terms of, oh my God, can we believe this guy is so dumb that he would do
I
this?
think that's the basics.
I
That's
don't.
what it.
Yeah, I mean, there's tons of idiocy in politics as much as politics and idiocy, and
And finance,
Yep.
and
yeah, it's like
I mean, I'm sure that's not the stupidest thing that they've done with $60 million.
this guy's also the advisor to the president, and we're not. So
Yeah. Well, I think that's the point they were trying to make. Maybe they use the $60 million to build a wall in Warcraft to keep the humans and the orcs apart.
well, that would be Minecraft, I think. But
In Minecraft. So who has the EFS story?
Man, I went down a rabbit hole with this one when I was reading it.
You can call it a rat hole if you want to. That's where
so
I go.
this one, I actually, I want to chime in on this one because I live in a region of Vermont that is within the 100-mile limit for where these rules apply. And that's the part about this stuff that concerns me, is because as I and everybody else I know has finally interpreted it, the way in which this is constructed right now is that the Customs and Border Protection has the right to make this demand not only at the border and not only for the person crossing into the country from some other place. It just kind of generally says within 100 miles of the U.S. border, CBP has the authority to do blah.
Oh, I didn't see the 100-mile thing.
And so the thing is that I live in Burlington, Vermont, which is 60 miles from the Canadian border, which means that technically, not that it's going to happen, but technically, a CBP officer can come to my house and say, give me all your data without a warrant.
I thought it wasn't. It didn't include your home.
But that's the thing is that they don't. The actual ruling, as I've traced the links back to any of the actual rulings from the acts that give them these authorities right now, and please, anybody is welcome to correct me if I'm wrong, but so far, everybody's like, yeah, it actually doesn't specify. Like, it just says that they get to do that, period. And so what it means is that it would have to happen, and then I would have to challenge it, and then we'd have to appeal and go through to the district court and go through to the blah, 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 and so on to the Supreme Court to get a ruling that finally says, you're idiots, that doesn't apply. Unconstitutional.
Right. But you still have spent all of that money and all of that time, and your devices or whatever have been locked up for all,
right.
So 8 months of the process.
So that's the question, is like the ruling and the writing of this so far is that it doesn't explain that scenario, and nobody's assumed that that's going to happen, and I'm not assuming it's going to happen. I'm not worried, about it happening. I'm not like tinfoil hat, but at the same time, it's an interesting thought experiment that this is what it would take to fix this because it was poorly worded and written in the first place. So that's what I found most interesting about this particular challenge. And the second part of this is that, honestly, I would really reconsider crossing any border with, anything other than a burner phone and a laptop that's like a, $150 piece of junk from Costco disposable thing that you have Linux on and you just toss it anyway and call it a day.
Right.
No, I agree. It's scary. The whole thing is scary, and it's going to take a test case. It's going to take somebody spending a lot of money. Hopefully, you can get somebody like the ACLU involved to help you pay for these crazy legal fees.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's not a good situation.
As to the social media stuff, I'd just be like, I don't have a Facebook profile.
Right.
I mean, that's what I was
Yeah,
thinking.
for the social media stuff, you can just uninstall the app while you cross the border.
Yeah,
You know,
or just make sure you don't have it to begin with on those systems. Like just
Yeah.
and it's
Right.
you know.
if you told them you didn't have one and you didn't have it installed on your whatever computer device you have, are they going to take the time to pull you aside and do forensics in order to figure out what was once on it?
Probably how much it probably depends on how much suspicion there is. So they're allowed to do the search without any suspicion. Like,
Or it could be random.
It has nothing to do with it. It's just so the one part of one of the articles that I dug down into was it was created for and kind of in the same aspect of the stops they make for drunk drivers on the road.
Right.
So in that case, they don't have a warrant to or a reason to stop you other than there's a checkpoint and you have to. And it's to protect, for the greater good, to protect everybody else that's out on the road.
Well,
But in that case, if they find...
There's even limits to DUI checkpoints. I mean, you can't just go through your car without a suspicion.
Right.
And generally, the case that's used to go through your car is the Terry versus Ohio, where if the officer believes there's something of danger to him or to the general public in the car, he or she could go through your car. But I don't know. On border agents,
it was supposed to be just for immigration and customs.
Yeah. Well, my whole thing too, the question is, if you're not a citizen of the United States, do you have constitutional rights?
And that used to be the case. I believe the answer used to be yes. You were.
I don't remember.
If you came into the U.S., you were given the same rights as everybody else. Now it says that the social media accounts from foreign visa applicants. So, and if you don't comply, you're denied entry. So that's part of the strong arm tactics applied here in this case. But this too obviously will, bear certain...
it's really going to be interesting over the next year or so.
Yeah. So definitely folks should keep track of their experiences and document everything in detail. And
I just suggest if you have any other color than white skin, you probably should not cross the U.S. border.
So I can tell you stories about our border crossings between Vermont and Canada on both sides, but we'll save that for off-air commentary.
Well, I'm sure we're all on a list after that anyway. So
if I ever want to go to Canada, I'm just gonna drive to Montana or something and cross through a field.
Anyway, so pre-medication there, right?
Until Canada puts up their wall.
Well, it's becoming more interesting as time goes on.
Well, and they're going to make us pay for it too.
Yeah, exactly. Right. So the Cellbrite story. Cellbrite.
So I added this, and I only added it not because Cellbrite got hacked, but I added this because this goes back to the idiocy of the TSA agent who held up all of the master keys for the New York Times and published a high-resolution photo of, which then gets to the point of, okay, we were all talking about the master key, decryption key thing that the government was advocating for with the FBI director at the time, Comey,
right.
And then the other iPhone.
He's still an FBI director, unfortunately.
Right. So
unfortunately,
are advocating for we must force Apple and everybody else to build in master key backdoors to all of their crypto technology so we can unlock these phones when we need to, because San Bernardino and terrorists and oh my God, etc. So now I'm thinking, okay, wait a minute. Celebrate, which is the technology of the company that unlocks the phones, especially when they couldn't get that through, gets hacked themselves and they lose like 900 gigabytes worth of data. Like, if they had had the frickin' master key to all of these phones, they would have lost it. And this is not just about like, oh, you had a warrant for the phone and you wanted the master key to unlock the door. I'm like, this is like, they not only have the master key to unlock all the locks in your house or in all of the houses in America, they have the master key to unlock every frickin' door, period, globally. Like, you want to entrust them to that, and now these companies demonstrate that they can't be trusted with these keys. Like, that's the part of this that's like, are you kidding me? Like, hell no, they should not have the master keys, and here is why. This article is exactly representative of no, absolutely not. There is no such thing.
Do you know if any of it is being sold or anything on the dark web? Have you seen anything about that?
For the Celebrate stuff?
I haven't. Yeah, I haven't. But I was just wondering.
I think I saw something about it, but I don't have a link handy off the top of my head.
I've stayed far and away from the Celebrate breach, mainly because we teach Celebrate, and I don't want to step on their toes. And but yeah,
I'll throw in a disclaimer that everything I'm saying is just, you know, my personal views. It has nothing to be representative of my employer or anything.
I think you're right. And beyond that, you know, government. Let's see how well government secures their systems. OPM, anyone?
Yeah,
it's the same sort of thing. It's just a bad idea.
It's every vertical. It's not, you know.
And some horizontals as well.
So I saw a thing from a friend on Facebook who I will not mention any of the details of any of the names or anything to protect the innocent, but they were
wasn't it?
Just tonight about
it was Boris.
Meeting. No, it wasn't Boris. It had nothing to do with printers. This was all about meeting a person who worked for the Department of Defense in an airport bar.
I saw.
Visibly had their CAC card displayed and did not understand what the issue was about the ability for somebody to take a picture of that with their phone.
What?
And left their laptop at the bar unlocked while they went to use the restroom and figured nobody will take it. There's no issue here. And I'm just like, this is why we can't have nice things, and this is why we have OPM type breaches. Like,
yeah,
are you kidding me? Like, there's so much wrong with this picture. And it reminded me of a story where I was flying with a guy as a seatmate next to me, and he pulled out his laptop and started doing work and everything. And I had actually posted on Facebook about it as well. And somebody that we know was like, okay, dude, just take that down. I'll go talk to the guy because I actually know who it is.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
It's lost audio.
Small world.
Your audio just cut out.
Mine did?
That's funny. Did you? No, Mark's did. I've got bandwidth issues here.
Hello?
Oh, okay.
I can now. But you were telling that story, and you got straight, and I'm sure it's on the audio server, which is in the cloud. You got right to the crescendo of that story, and it just went dead. And I'm like,
you can listen to it afterwards.
Anyway.
Yeah. So anyway, the point is that I had the guy's credentials, and all of this info that I got just by watching what he was doing. Because when people pull out their laptop, it presents them with a login screen, and that usually shows the domain in which they're logging in.
Right.
The username and everything. And then, you know, he pulled up a spreadsheet about this contract they were bidding on for the U.S. government, for the DOD, and intel
Shoulder
agency and
it's hard not to shoulder surf when someone's sitting right beside you. Too.
Right.
I'm
right.
like, dude, you're bidding on like a $300 million contract, and you couldn't buy a 3M privacy screen for $20.
Yeah, exactly.
So, anyway, the point is that we all have these moments of OPSEC fail with these people, and that was another one of those. And the celebrate thing is like why you don't put all the eggs in one basket kind of thing, and don't have master keys, and don't publish the master keys to the frickin' newspaper.
That's great.
Awesome. So, Mark, you also added this clown strike story.
Nope. Cloud.
Oh, that was me.
I'm sorry, clown.
That's Amanda.
Yeah.
That's okay.
That's my commentary. I'll take that out.
I still call them clown strike. Go ahead. I'll call them clown strike to the freaking face. We have students that work there, former students that work there, and I still call them clown strike.
I know people that work there too.
So, what's the clown strike story?
Just Cloudflare was breached, and for stupid reasons, like they bypassed two-factor auth because like their password reset procedures sucked.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Who was your high school mascot?
Right. So they were able to redirect the what was his position? Oh, the CEO. They were able to redirect his voicemail to a fake one to get his PIN for something else. Reset his Gmail password and just kind of went about it that. So they found like a flaw in the whole Gmail thing too, I guess. But it's a pretty advanced if you're already to the point where you can redirect their voicemail.
It sounds like they were very heavily ingrained in the entire Google ecosystem.
Oh yeah, right.
So this is kind of an ecosystem story, right? So if you have Google Voice and all of the other pieces, Gmail and
Google two-factor auth,
and all of it, then you get one chip in that armor, the whole thing falls apart, is what this told me when I read it. So, the entirety of the fact that they got his voicemail stuff in addition to the rest was like, okay, this is why you don't put everything in one technology, in one system. Like, I have Google for certain things, but not everything, and I have Apple for certain things, but not everything.
From beginning to end, the whole procedure took less than 2 hours.
Wow.
Yeah. And what I thought was funny, and just kind of adds to it a little bit, is Cloudflare does have a bug bounty program through HackerOne.
Yep.
It's I don't know how they're still so insecure with that amazing of a bug bounty. You get a T-shirt if you.
Wow. Let me go find some bugs now, because I'm going to get a T-shirt, because I don't have enough of those.
It's like a super special T-shirt too.
Yeah. Well, here's the other thing about Cloudflare.
They have really unlimited scope too, which is nice. But
Cloudflare has some pretty awesome people working there, so it amazes me that this can still happen.
See, it's a limited edition Cloudflare Bug Hunter T-shirt, and Cloudflare employees don't even have this shirt.
You could go on in my T-shirt quilt that I'm getting together, I think. I'll make them all in the bow ties.
You could do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you all for coming on tonight. I think we're about an hour. I have to go watch the last episodes of My Brother and Me, which shout out to those guys who are from Huntington, as a matter of fact. So it's a CISO show. They have a podcast called My Brother and Me. And then actually Justin McElroy has several shows. He has one with his wife called Sawbones, where they talk about medical quackery. In that case, she's actually a doctor, and it's all very entertaining. Anyway, shout out to my brother on me on CISO. And thank you all once again for being on tonight, and let's do this again soon.
Heck yeah.
Sounds good.
Do you have anything you need to plug?
Oh,
Amanda,
yeah.
you're on Break Into Security now, right?
Yeah, I'm in the new third member of Breaking Down Security.
Okay.
With Brian Brake and Brian Betcher, and I'm the third non-Brian.
Okay. Awesome.
Which is super fun, and I
Yep.
because
you
I'm
legally change your name though.
I was going to like Byron or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just haven't gotten around to doing the paperwork.
Awesome.
So through the podcast, we're doing a bunch of different things. So, we do a CTF group twice a week. We do a book club, and that kind of stuff. And the other thing I have to plug is my book will be out soon.
Awesome. Yeah, it needs to come out soon because I need a new book for my network defense class.
Yeah, beginning of April, it should be printed.
Awesome. Take a look at it.
Yeah, we already threw all our money your way, so we're just waiting for Amazon to deliver it.
Yay! I can't wait.
And so, as an author, what do you think of the process? Do you think you'll ever do another one?
Yes.
Cool.
I think I could do another one. Yeah.
I'd rather take a beating.
O'Reilly made it really, really easy. Like I can't.
Good publisher.
I can't praise them enough.
They've always been a great publisher. I remember I've had O'Reilly books for decades now.
Yep.
I remember the original. I learned Unix and X11 thanks to O'Reilly because they published the original X11 manuals back in the 90s.
I did too. In fact, I may still have copies here somewhere.
I have the DNS.
I read their DNS and bind.
Yep.
Yeah.
I've got it. I used to have it anyway.
Yeah. So the whole process. I mean, so I had tossed around doing a self-publishing thing right in the beginning. Talked to a couple people that had done it, and then talked to a couple publishers, and I don't know. I'm just really glad that I went with a publisher because all of the work that they've put into it, I wouldn't have wanted to do. And just automatically it shows up in all the stores. So it's like at Barnes & Noble, and it's on Amazon, and every bookstore that you can go into and pre-order something, it's already there. There's no way we would have been able to do that by ourselves.
Awesome. If you do another one, I'm happy to be a co-author.
Yeah.
Be fun.
Yeah.
If you do another one, I'm happy to buy it.
My tech editors. Yeah, right.
Well, I'm working on this thing now that it's supposed to be an academic article, and I'm scared that it's because of the sheer size of the project that it's going to be a book. And I just don't want to write a book.
About what?
And it would not be.
Are you allowed to say?
I'm working on information warfare, cybersecurity, trolling. Basically, the idea that some people in this last election took sort of the weapons of the geeks, so the things that Anonymous has done in the past for social justice, and turned it completely the other way, especially the alt-right, and the whole rise of Pepe as a hate symbol, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So that's what I've been grinding out on paper now for a while, and it's it links back to academic research and academic citations, etc. And I've had to pull out my I'm using my journalism theory class to frame up what I'm trying to write, as well as going back and reading a lot of political scientists and doing content analysis stuff that's out there. I mean, it sounds boring, and it is boring, but
it does sound really boring.
It's going to be interesting, huh?
I said it sounds really boring. I can't do political science stuff.
It'll be interesting, but writing for academia and writing for everyone else is different. So we'll see what comes out of it.
Yeah, for sure.
Supposed to be. I just realized I'm supposed to be someplace tomorrow at 7 o'clock in the morning.
Oh, yay. I'm not.
The
Well, I go to
diversity
the gym at 7. But
once full.
you still there, Bill?
Yep, I'm here.
Okay. You
So
cut out.
anyway, I should let you all. Huh? What?
Yeah, I said you just cut out. You just cut out for a minute.
What? So I should thank you all for coming on. I should let you go. Anyway, thanks everyone for joining us tonight. We'll be back soon. Good night, everybody.
Good night.